Oh, we're on. Hello. Good
We
evening,
haven't
everybody,
played
and
the.
welcome to this week's Let's Talk Trek. Shall we
We're
run
not.
the titles?
Yeah, we're not ready for that bit. Hang on.
We're on.
Good
Wow.
evening, everybody, and welcome to Let's Talk. We're so sorry we weren't here last week. That was unavoidable. Personal circumstances got in the way of us being able to do the show. The week before that, we did sack it off and go to the pub. Can't really hide away from that. I'm
Well, to be
afraid.
fair, we were going to do the show from the pub, but
Yeah.
we just didn't connect, could we?
No,
It
we had
didn't work.
a problem. Yes, the plan
broke.
was to do this. Yeah.
I was working, so
Oh, it's the voice of the Mr. Ons. It's just
hello.
We can hear you, Dan, but sadly, there we are. Oh, what ho, Dan, and Dan's
And a
dog.
special friend.
Hello, Riker.
Hello, number one.
Here's number one. He's got a little badge and everything.
So, this is a new addition to your crew. How long have you had him for?
He's 2 weeks yesterday.
You've had him for 2 weeks, and how old is he?
He is now 13 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Oh, look at
okay.
him. And what is he?
He's
He
a
is
dog,
a-
James.
What breed of dog?
He's a Labrador and a Springer Collie.
He's
A Springer
absolutely
Collie?
gorgeous.
And as you can see, he's repping his Star Trek number one badge. Oh, look at the little puppy.
On your pooper scoop, Dan, do you have number 2 written on it?
No.
And when you call him, do you say "make it so"?
We do say make it so, yeah.
Ooh.
So yes. This is Riker. Riker is the new addition to the crew, and he's very, very warm.
So he's basically like
Like
the
a-
Blue Peter dog. Then he's the Let's Talk Trek dog.
Yes.
So
Oh,
that
he's
makes
gorgeous.
you John Noakes.
But with more fingers.
He looks like he's got somewhere more interesting he'd like to be right now, if I'm honest
Yeah,
with you.
probably anywhere. You can go down. There you go, Bobby.
Yes, I was just saying to James, I've needed this, Mike. I've had a rotten day today. I was involved in quite a ugly and violent mugging. But on the plus side, I'm up a few quid.
Wow. Are you okay, though?
Yeah, I'm right, yeah. Oh, honestly, if someone tried to mug me, Christ, would they have a bad day? Jeez.
Another chap I know, Richard, got mugged, and he put a post online saying, "To the chap who tried to mug me this afternoon, if you'd like your teeth back, come round to my house and we'll have a chat."
I saw a post on Facebook this week, not Trek related, but sorry, neither. From Bank Holiday, from a bar that said, if you're the gentleman who lost his artificial leg in the bar this week when we threw you out because we thought you were drunk for stumbling around, we have it here. You can collect it at any point that you wish.
He could be the murderer that framed Dr. Richard Kimball.
No, that was the one-armed man.
Oh, so it was. It was one.
Well, it might be his accomplice.
The one-armed man and Hopalong. Yes.
So
What a show that would be. Oh, Richard, all your lights have gone off.
I don't know why that happened, but I'm quite liking the effect it's had. This is quite cool, isn't it?
I'm kind of more like J.J. Abrams in here, aren't I?
I'm
Richard,
Let's
you do-
Talk Trek Noir.
So, Richard, your specialty subject is Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Okay, go for it.
What is William Riker's brother's name?
Oh, his evil brother. Oh, he
Well,
took
his evil clone.
his evil clone. He
It's a
took
trick question. He doesn't have a brother.
Wait, Thomas.
Correct. Yes. How many times in Next Generation does Geordie roll under a door?
I think only once.
No,
No, how many, James?
I think it's 3 or 4, but he does it in Generations as well, and that has to count.
Oh, including the film then too. I think he only does it once in the series.
I don't know. No answer to that. I know it's more than one. So.
How
Right.
many times does he reach back under to grab his hat?
Just quickly, if anyone's watching this, if this darkness is a bit weird, I can switch my lights back on, but I'm quite enjoying it. So let me know if it's not good broadcasting. I'll put my lights back on.
Ooh,
James, you've just succeeded in looking a bit dirtier. I don't know.
hang on. Ooh,
Well, that's. Well, now we're getting very close to what's the Ghost Hunters?
well, it's
Oh,
more
no,
like an
where's the
episode of
Horny Ghost?
Discovery, isn't it? Can anybody
Horny
see
Ghost.
anything?
I feel like this is the last season of Game of Thrones.
Yo, buy a better TV.
Right, bad news, everybody. I've been involved in an incident as well, only a few minutes ago. And who wants to know what a Malon freighter looks like naked?
What did you
My
do?
Malon freighter's fallen off the shelf, and look what's happened.
I don't know. What's the
I'm not
difference?
sure. It still looks as shit as it always did.
It looks
Look,
like
this
a
bit's fallen off. Look,
Oh, the
that's what it's supposed to look like. That's the classic Malon
Wait a minute.
freighter. But
Oh.
now look what I've got.
so
So
the
it's
helm-
forking falling off, and you've just got the balls
yeah,
left.
basically the
It's been
helmet's gone.
circumcised.
Right. Okay. So we've been gone for 2 weeks. We need to say hello to all you lovely people who tuned
Stupid
in to watch
freighter.
us, even though we've been gone for 2 weeks and we let you down last minute. So, good evening, Christoph. Lovely to see you. Good evening, Vicky. Lovely to see you. What
Good
ho,
evening, all.
Gary? How you doing, chap? Auntie Val, how are you? Linda, hey Linda, how you doing? Adam, how you doing, buddy? Oh, I've got something to show you. Oh no, I can't. No, it's got to be private.
Ooh. Wow.
It's top secret. Oh, we missed you, Mark. We missed you a time. Nadeem, how you doing, buddy?
To be fair, we were in the pub, so don't feel bad for us.
Yeah, and it wasn't a nice pub. It was a cheap. Well, it's cheap up there for a nice pub.
This is in the south.
I
so
am,
it's
thank you,
probably the
Vicky.
south is like an
Yeah.
expensive pub in the north.
Good evening, Richard. How are we doing? Oh, Richard, yes.
Richard, we're looking
okay.
forward to seeing you next weekend.
We'll talk about that in a moment.
Hmm.
Yes, I am. Thank you, Linda. Oh, I know I am. Thank you, Linda. Stop it. You're making me blush here. Oh, gosh. I just can't take any more of this.
Oh, stop flattering him.
Oh, I'm going to shut up now and let someone else talk while I bask in this. So, and try and figure out how to switch on my lights.
Yes. So,
Hello.
so how are we all feeling now that we're 3 weeks after the finale of Picard? Have we all? In fact, I'll be honest. I've not been back and watched episode 10 again because it was so good. I don't know if I want to spoil it by watching it again.
How do I feel? I had to buy an emotional support dog to get me through the pain.
Right.
The problem I've had, I did thoroughly enjoy it, but now it's complete. I have been picking holes in it a bit. But it doesn't, even though I've been picking holes in it, it's not in any way at all lessened my enjoyment of it.
Well, did you see that picture I put up the other day, Richard, where it said, what Star Wars fans wanted? And it was like Han Solo and Luke Skywalker and all the original cast on the Millennium Falcon. And then the picture underneath is the Enterprise D crew on the Enterprise D bridge saying, what Star Trek fans got? Don't we feel lucky?
I think so. I mean, in fairness, we've had to sit through like Discovery to get here. But I'm happy to have paid that price. I don't, genuinely.
It's coming back again as well. I think they're still making it.
What, Discovery?
Yeah.
No, this is the last season's this. Well, I don't know when the one
Yes,
they've filmed
but
is
we
going to
haven't
be the
seen
last
the
one.
last season, so they have been making it.
Yes, there's going to be one more, but no more after that. I'm afraid that's it. Done.
I mean, if Picard has taught us one thing, and it is only one thing, it is that Alex Kurtzman should sort of hand over the reign of Star Trek now.
It's taught us that Terry Matalas should be allowed to do whatever he wants.
In fairness, we said the same about Kurtzman when Kurtzman first came back on board. So,
I mean, the genius of Kurtzman is he let Matalas get on with it.
yeah.
Oh, it's just it's made me excited for Star Trek's future. I know obviously there's been officially announced there's going to be a straight to video Section 31 film. Do we know who's going to be doing it? I mean, is it going to be Matalas or is it going to be Kurtzman? Matalas, Kurtzman. I mean, do we know?
Is it Clarkson, Hammond, and May?
I reckon we could do it. How hard can it be? It's essentially James Bond in space. We could do this.
What, be in it or do the show or what?
We could just write it. We just rip off a Bond film, for instance, and I'm recommending here GoldenEye, because there can be a mystery component for a weapon, and you know.
Well, that's just called a MacGuffin. That's fine. That's a writing term.
Apparently, Adrian says it's Akiva Goldsman that's doing.
Akiva Goldsman sounds like a Bond villain.
Yeah.
Not as much as Brannon Braga sounds like a Bond villain. Oh my goodness me! So I'm on my Voyager rewatch at the moment, and I've just seen Course Oblivion, where all the duplicates disintegrate. Oh my god, I was in pieces. I was in absolute pieces. I really was. I was choking up. That was a really hard watch. That was.
Is that the one that starts with B'Elanna and Tom
Wedding.
getting married?
Yeah. Oh, honestly, I very nearly had like an emotion. It was a really hard watch. That it's a beautiful bit of television.
Right. It's time to talk Star Trek Universe. And while we're in the Star Trek Universe, yesterday there was, I believe, a singing competition.
Yes, there was. And once again, the voting was ridiculous and plainly wrong.
Yes. Well, it makes me think, do you think the Eurovision, because Eurovision, let's be honest, doesn't just have countries in Europe. It's got like Israel and Azerbaijan and, you know,
Australia.
Do you think Eurovision will extend to the Federation? And would it be like Federvision?
Eurovision Song Contest. So basically a singing competition for the Federation.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Can you imagine how long the voting would take?
Well, I'm just wondering of songs.
Hello,
so, for instance,
Earth. This is Andoria calling. You've put on a great show. Well done, you guys. We love you. Here are the votes from the Andorian jury.
These are the Tellarites calling. You did a really shit job.
No point.
and up next is the delegation from Ferenginar singing "Money, Money, Money." Must be funny.
There you go. There's an idea for a convention.
There's something, you know, that I have to say. Some things shouldn't be mixed, and Eurovision shouldn't be. It just stands alone. It's its own thing. You can't mix it with Trek, I'm afraid. Oh! G'day, mate. Hey, Jeff. How you doing, buddy? Not seen you on the show before. Please pop in the comments your favourite show, your Star Trek show, obviously. Not like if you watch something else, unless it's Ted Lasso. Your favourite show, your favourite captain. We'd love to, and your favourite episode. Please pop that in the comments, chat. We could just not watch it. Oh, it's Eurovision. It's not Discovery, Adrian.
I love this Eurovision. It's great
And-
fun.
It was
Hannah
much
Waddingham.
better than it was last year. Last year was awful. This year was much better. Although there was a lack of Spanish bottoms this year.
I hear that Hannah did a great job this year.
Yes, she did.
Was that our entry?
No,
No,
Hannah Waddingham
Oh, Hannah Waddingham. Oh,
hosting it with the Graham Norton.
ooh, suit you, sir. Suit you, sir. Straight
Thank you,
away,
boy.
sir. Give me nil pois. Certainly, sir. Oh,
Yes.
she was blatantly what?
Is
she
your
was
house
obvious-
haunted? What's going on?
I don't, but Hannah Waddingham, she was definitely shit faced. she was quite blatantly had a sherbet. She really was.
Well, I thought she managed to manage it very well.
And I'm back in the room. There we go. Yeah, I thought she did very well.
Main power restored.
We lost Dan because we're talking about Eurovision. We'll talk about Eurovision. I didn't like the lady who took over from Graham though doing the psychic commentary. She was awful.
Mel Gidroich. Well, he couldn't be in two places at once, could he?
No, but she was naff. Right, we're gonna say Kirk, Prophet and Lace, Babylon 5. Sorry, dear. I must go back and watch Babylon 5. I can only remember 2 episodes, and that's the one with Penn and Teller in, Rebo and Zuti.
What I remember is that they very clearly told us we shouldn't go on holiday to Zahadum.
But, Prophet and Lace. Which episode is Prophet and Lace? I'm struggling with that.
It's Profit and
James.
Loss rather than Profit and Lace.
Well, I'm figuring this must be a noir version. I don't think there's an episode called Prophet and Lace, but I could be wrong. DS9, your favourite series. Oh, so this will interest you, James. I've got something for your segment.
Which one? I have so many segments.
So I've been on eBay. Right.
Oh, that's always dangerous.
I know.
I think eBay actually should come with a Talksimeter, so you can tell how much you've been drinking, and it doesn't let you bid. What have you bought? Oh, it's an old AMT model kit of the Defiant.
A very, very old one.
Gosh, what sort of scale will that? So when you built it, how big will the Defiant be?
Well, I bought it. The listing said it was already part built.
All right, so you've got the box open. That's good. So we can have a look, see in there. Look at that stand. That's already assembled.
It was part built.
Well, there's the bottom of the hull. Yeah.
Well, it was part built quite a bit, but to such a poor standard, I've been going over it with a scalpel. just
Putting it back
basically-
apart so you can build it properly, yeah?
apart. Yeah, I'm going to have to take it apart. So, yeah, we've got the stand.
Very nice.
mean,
Oh, I'll
look
tell
at
you
that.
what, I made a few AMT kits back in the day, and the one thing I found about the stands was they were always so flimsy.
Well, I had no idea just how big this. I mean, look at the size of it.
Oh, she's a whopper.
I'm glad I bought that airbrush because it's
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean,
That's
but again,
quite a nice scale for the Defiant, though.
yeah, you can see the sort of state that it's in. I mean, I'll be able to bring it back, but it's going to take. I thought this would
You're
be
going to have
like
to
a
Dremel that,
month-long.
aren't you?
I thought this would be a month-long project. It's going to be more like a year. Now,
Richard, it would make an awesome drone.
Yes, voice of the balls.
So yes, so that'll keep me busy.
Has it got any translucent parts? So do the Bussard collectors
Yeah.
light up?
So it's got. Oh no, it's got the decals.
Yeah.
As you know, the last time I did a model, I did a light up one. I've decided I'm not going to go for light up for this one. I'm going to go
Okay.
a little bit different. Instead of going light up, I'm going to try and put lights inside the case, kind of like spotlights to light up the ship as if it were in a shipyard. Does that make sense?
Oh, right.
So
So, like
it'll
she's
have
powered
little-
down, but she's lit up by the ship.
It'll have little spot lamps, kind of like
A bit like the Enterprise D did in that.
Yeah. I mean, I might do just thing is, if I start lighting it up, I light the whole thing up, and I want to kind of get away from that. I want to, as I say, because everyone kind of does that. Instead, I want spot lamps on it, and make it to look like it's being lit up as an exhibition. So,
so you want some very tight beams then?
Well, I might use more kind of reflective paints on the warp engines and stuff, so the light bounces off them more, and maybe they'll look illuminated. Maybe I'll go down that route. But yeah, I thought this would be a month-long project, but I mean, the size of it.
or do you make it look like it's in a shipyard being built and leave pieces which are still being built on it?
It's not a bad idea. I'd need a couple of scale printed. Maybe Gary could do me some scale printed worker bees to be buzzing around it. That might work.
Yes, these little fellas.
Oh, that'd be about. Oh no, that's too big.
No, that's way too big for your scale. But
James, that's not a worker bee. That's Thunderbird 4.
It's a worker bee.
Thunderbird 4.
It's not Thunderbird 4.
Right, be right back.
Yes, so I've got.
Right, while he's gone, let's talk about him.
Yes, so I've got all the bits and the decals and everything for it. So I'm looking forward to getting stuck into it. But yes, a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. So we'll see how we go with that one.
Yeah, that's Thunderbird 4. Look. That's a worker bee.
Same thing.
No, they're just the same colour, Dan.
No. It's the same thing.
Yes, Jeff, I remember the episode now. Yes. What she called he called himself Luna. I think, was it Luna or Looper? But yeah, that was a good episode. That.
Oh.
Not sure how that will work for the Defiant. I'm not sure what bit you're
talking about the lighting. That's when the comment appeared.
Oh, it like lighting it up with spotlights. You don't think that'll work? Okay. Oh well. Guess we'll find out.
What's happened to your Thunderbird 2? Why are only 2 of your legs working?
They're not. All 4 of them. But you just
There we are. That, I believe, is the Corgi version of Thunderbird 2.
It is indeed. No, this is the Matchbox version.
Matchbox? Oh.
1992. Not to be confused with the horrendous remake, which the Thunderbird 2 looked completely different than the horrendous remake.
On that note,
who directed the 2004 remake of Thunderbirds?
That was Jonathan Frakes.
It was Jonathan Frakes, indeed.
Do you know Jonathan Frakes does actually appear in the film if you look very closely? When the Hood is arrested at the end outside the Bank of England, he's one of the policemen.
Oh, didn't know that.
Yeah, he's there.
Fair enough.
Yeah. It's what I've often wanted to say to Frakes if I met him again. So I didn't think Thunderbirds was that bad.
I haven't seen it. Was it? I mean,
they ruined it. They really did. They made a complete hash of it.
The film you're talking about, not the series our friend Jeff has worked on.
The new Thunderbird series, is CGI, isn't it? So that's a different kettle of fish, but it's very good. I do like that. I've watched that with my little girl, Isabel.
Yeah, I watched it with my kids as well. They liked it. Yeah, it's good.
And both of my kids have grown up now going 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off!
Have you seen that British General Insurance advert with Parker's Day Off, where Lady Penelope smashes the car into everything? It's great. It's absolute mustard. It's really good. Brilliant. So then, James, tell us what's happening this weekend.
Well, next weekend is the MDC Plus convention in Birchington, which is just down the road from us. And subject to the accommodation they've supplied for us, we'll be bringing our bridge transporter and shuttlecraft. So please do come on down to that. I mean, they've got a few other bits and pieces. The Ecto 1, I think, is the one I'm most excited by. Chris Barry is going to be there. We'll just have a jolly day and then we're going to go to the pub.
Absolutely, friend of the show, Chris Barry, who we've met several times.
So we're the plan at the moment is, if anyone would like to lend a hand, many hands make light work. James and I will begin the process on the Friday evening.
Electricity make light work.
Right.
Very good. Yes,
Very
I've
good.
been out in the man cave this afternoon working on the shuttlecraft. She's being once again upgraded.
So we're planning on getting the donkey work, majority of, done on the Saturday, if anyone would like to help. On the Saturday evening, we are planning to have it. So if anyone's coming down and they're not helping, if anyone's coming down, they're helping. If anyone's coming down daily, if the event or anyone's in the area, we're planning on having a meetup. We're going to go out for dinner somewhere. I don't know, like Nando's, wherever. So we're going to have a little bit of a meal out, a bit of a trekkie, because the event is not a trekkie event. But if you want to have a trekkie meetup on the Saturday, so that's this Saturday, in the East Kent area, most likely probably a chain restaurant up at Westwood Cross. Please get in touch via the show. It'd be lovely to see you. It'd be even nicer to see you lifting shit for us. But
Yeah,
But
we
by
have
that
a
I
lot of
mean
stuff to move
moving, not
and
not
assemble
stealing.
and dismantle and move back
Yeah.
and then restore. So
So that'll be fantastic. Just fantastic to see also.
Richard, do you remember the first RikerCon where we built the set and we just left it up for about 2 months because no one asked us to move it, and we almost couldn't be bothered in the end.
I remember taking a few pictures.
Yes, you did, didn't you?
Took full advantage of that. That did very well on the I can't
Special
remember
site.
the Sexy Trek Facebook. I don't know what it's called. It
Was it Beat Me Up Hottie?
Beam Me Up Hottie. It got like 3,000 odd likes. That picture. It was a good picture.
Hang on, but there's only 12 people in Beam Me Up Hottie.
They liked it a lot.
Wow.
Dear viewer, the picture was not of me. Hasten to add. Oh, dear
Yeah.
me.
So it will be fun if people want to come down, and if anyone's a carpenter and wants to lend some time to me working on the shuttle, I mean, that would be useful. Oh, that's disappeared again, and he's back.
So that
Yes.
you muted your camera instead of your microphone there, Dan. So, the big one though, what we're all looking forward to. There's been little bits of information drip drapping from time to time. That, of course, is Destination Trek, which is happening
September, is it?
August, James.
August.
sorry.
So this is the huge event meetup, which is happening in Birmingham at the NEC. And so far, Walter Koenig has been announced. And Nicole de Bell. Yeah. And, I mean, I'm not one for having my photos taken with a celebrity unless it's in a toilet. But I'm quite excited about how they offer a photo called a Dax sandwich. This is how they sell it. Basically, Nicole de Boer and Terry Farrell sort of stand either side of you and go cooey, and then you get.
Oh, I know what you should do, Richard. I know. You should dress up as a hot dog sausage.
Unzip my flies and say, "Look at my worm. Would you put it in you?"
Right. Okay. Excellent. No, let's just stop this here because obviously we are involved a little bit with this event. So let's not.
So if you'd like to see Richard dressed as a sausage, let us know in the comments. And what sort of
All you have
sausage
to
your
do
favourite is. Oh,
Is you just pull your trousers in the pockets inside out, and then
we're playing elephant or snake again.
Wow.
So Christoph, he has a Daxwitch photo. Oh,
You're going to have to pay your electricity bill, Richard. It's the only way.
I'm going to roll with it. Oh, hang on a minute. Wait, I've got my modelling lamp. Wait. That doesn't look creepy, does it?
Hey kids, get into this van. I've got sweets.
It's actually quite bright. Right.
I've been doing some modelling work this weekend, Richard. I've been using the airbrush. I've been really enjoying it. And one thing I find quite therapeutic is even if you've only done a little bit of painting, you have to clean the whole airbrush out. I think, well, that's 5 minutes. I'm going to sit there just taking it apart and cleaning every bit of it.
Well, a tip-top is to, instead of giving it a full proper clean out, just run some IPA alcohol through it. That proper cleans it out. You just got to make sure you flush some water through it afterwards, but it's a much quicker way of doing it. And I've learned. I watched a YouTube video, and to improve my technique. And a really good thing to do is to practice writing your name just on a piece of paper with it. Yeah. And then you you pull away, and you get you really get the hang of the distances and the amount of detail, the amount of it's a really handy thing to do. I did it loads. It's really improved my technique.
Nice. I have 2 airbrushes, but my son has destroyed one overnight. I don't know quite what's happened to it, but bits are missing and the needle is bent, so that's probably ruined.
Yeah. Well, normally you can replace the needle. Normally they come with like a couple of different size needles.
Well, maybe I'll get another needle, but I'll still need another lid.
You put it. I don't even bother with the lid on mine, but I like to live dangerously.
So you can just swap colours without having to mess around and clean the brush out first.
I just like to live dangerously. That's all.
Right, so welcome to Let's Talk Trek. It is a Sunday night, and tonight we will have a man who can't afford to pay for lighting tell a man who can't afford to pay for bandwidth how to use an airbrush. In other news,
do we want some news?
Well, just getting us off the painting section.
We can talk some more about painting starships if you like. It's not a problem.
James, have you got any Tony Hart painting music that you can put on?
No, because I'm on my laptop owing to technical issues, so I have no gadgets to play with. Sorry.
I thought you had a new computer.
Yes, but I haven't got enough USB connectors to make it all work at the moment.
Oh.
It's nearly ready. In my 5 minutes of spare time I get per month, I haven't had time to build it.
So what we're saying before we got into painting starships was there is a Star Trek event in August in the UK, and if you haven't yet filled out a permission slip with your better half to attend, this is a good time to get that in now. So.
Now, what's the story? Perhaps, Dan, you can help us with this, because the event has booked out all the rooms in the hotel or something of that kind. But as I read it, there are no rooms available at all in the hotel. Does Destination still have some you can book if you buy a ticket, or do you need to buy a ticket, book a room elsewhere within the Metropole, whatever it is, complex?
Okay, so if I have to answer this one, I'm going to answer it with, I don't know. I spoke to...
I can answer it.
Go on then.
I spoke to Destination a couple of weeks ago and said, look, I'm having issues with booking myself. I've got issues with, and they were like, well, we know what it is. We'll get back to you. And I haven't actually heard back. So
I can answer this. I mean, my answer won't be correct, but I can answer it.
Go on then.
Well, do you not remember the hassle we had booking the first time? The hotel reception staff were very pleasant but utterly incompetent at organising. I mean, they were lovely, but they just couldn't do anything, could they? It was incredible. So yeah, it's I mean, we got in early with our booking agent, so we're fully booked. Friend of the show, Tony, has managed to book. He booked the presidential suite. Because James and I had already got the Imperial one. He was gutted. He had the right arm. So
have you really booked the Imperial suite?
Yeah.
There isn't an Imperial suite.
Yes, but we are anxious to avoid any Imperial entanglements.
Yes.
Right, okay.
So Tony's brother, who works at ESA, is it?
Yes, he's a rocket scientist.
Yeah, he's coming along. Yeah, he's coming to meeting Tony's brother. And I might bring my brother, who doesn't work at ESA, but he's a really nice chap, so you should say hello to him if he comes.
I could bring my brother, who's a teacher.
I'm just going to bring my dog.
I don't think they allow them in the Hilton. Oh no, he's an emotional support carrier or something, isn't he? Yeah, you get away with that.
Yeah. I reckon we get him a little red uniform. It'll be fine.
Splinter.
But I'm thoroughly looking forward to Destination Trek. It's going to be odd not doing the walk over to the exhibition centre. The fact it's all going to be inside the hotel.
You know what this means? It means we can get more drunk and be more hungover. And what have to
It
do
means we can just stay in our pajamas the entire time.
Well, the last two, James, we don't wear pajamas. Don't pretend. When the last two times we went,
kimonos.
we drank the bar dry both nights, didn't we?
Yes, it was a case of going down the bar saying, "Well, what have you got left?"
So if we're not even doing any
Di
drinking,
Serrano.
yeah, if we're not even drinking in the exhibition centre, which I quite enjoyed, there's a few places you can drink in there. Then normally our bartender Zoe has a good supply that she stashes in our room. So if you're short of a drink, follow the voice.
Lucky we've got the Imperial Suite that will have enough room for all that booze.
Oh.
Yeah, so there's that. So there's MDC. I'm not aware of any other events. Are you? Oh, the SFB people are having something on, I think it's the 8th of July. But
Didn't
that's somewhere near Birmingham. I can't be bothered with that.
Something significant got cancelled is on my radar. I can't remember what, though.
Starbase 24's banquet, I think.
Banquet. Yes, the banquet got cancelled.
Was cancelled. They're apparently a very nice bunch of people. I've never been to their event, but it seems that everyone who does go has always enjoyed it, and it's sad to hear that they haven't been able to scare up enough
Sorry,
attendees.
just a moment. Sorry. Could we try and keep this Trek related? Thank you, Nadim.
Bakewell.
Not famous for its beer, is it, Bakewell? It's famous for what's it famous for, James? You're a solicitor.
I went to a fair this afternoon with the Bambinos, and there was no beer tent. I was raging, but happily there was a pub right outside the park, and I was able to go and fetch some beer and then bring it in. It was important and it had to be said. FedCon, is that Munich or Frankfurt?
Or Dusseldorf.
Or Bremen.
Or other places in Germany that we might know the names of.
Oh, I know one. What's it called?
Hamburg.
Berlin. Bonn.
So the one that's been cancelled. So because I don't know much about this banquet thing. This is one that's been going a while. This has upset a few people.
I think it's been going for about 10, 15 years. I could be wrong.
Isn't
friend of the show, Mike McClear's watching. I'm sure he'll tell us because I think he's been to it a few times.
I think they were advertising at Banquet 16, so...
Also, the Sci-Fi Ball appear to be advertising next year's Sci-Fi Ball without a venue.
Did they?
Which is interesting because they're supposed to have a 2-year contract at the McDonald Botley. So,
how interesting! Perhaps they can find a venue where the doors open.
I mean,
I thought the McDonald Botley was brilliant because they treated me like royalty.
I mean, obviously, my line of work is one of them is in the events in sort of circle. It's gonna be a really hard 12 months for events at the moment, and there's not Trek as much now, but we are in a bit of a financial pinch at the moment for a lot of people, and things are getting harder, and people are going to be more selective as to where they are spending their money for events. So it's going to be down to events to put extra value-added content in to entice people in.
True. Richard has had to let his pastry chef go.
Can't a man have a biscuit?
So we may have to make do with only 3 footmen.
It looks like
James,
poor
how's
Alan's
the
been,
butler?
poor Alan's been at the toilet duck again.
I think that might be a place in Germany.
So yes, it's it's terrible. I mean, I haven't had a biscuit now in 4 or 5 days. I mean, how's your
Can't
pastry?
go and buy one from the shops?
Well, I wouldn't want to eat a packet bought biscuit, James.
So next week on the show on Let's Talk Trek, we're going to have a live cook along with Richard. Richard is going to be in his office with his pie making machine with a webcam on it, demonstrating how to make your own pies in this financial pinch so that you can afford extra money to come to conventions. So.
Rather, I instruct my butler to show you how he makes a pie. So, right, in all seriousness, kids, if you're watching this at the moment, I had an epiphany the other day.
Oh, God.
And people are trying to, at the moment, say to you, listen, be healthy, eat health, cycle more, eat more vegetables, don't eat meat, save money, beat the credit crunch, and get healthier. But on the other side of this, you've got people saying like mental health is the most important thing. I'm sorry, but eating vegetables makes me sad. So for me, just go out, keep eating sausage rolls, pork scratchings, whatever makes you happy, because that in these hard times, being happy is hard enough. So don't go
This
out
commercial's been brought to you by Greggs.
salad, right? Because it'll just make you sad if you do.
I'd like to raise a point of order for this. The happiest I've seen Richard was when a man walked up to him and said, "But this is the chili beef, sir."
While he was having the meat sweats at the time.
There wasn't a vegetable in sight, and he was like, "Okay."
Can you show me a picture of the cow it came from?
And then the second happiest I saw Richard was when we went to Miller and Carter, and he looked like he fell in love with a steak.
Well, the doctors keep saying people are neglecting mental health. Vegetables make me sad. Yeah, I'm not going to eat a salad if it's going to put me into a poor state of mental health. I'm going to keep eating meat. Thank you. And that ends my public health message.
That's why you have canine teeth, isn't it?
I've yet to rip the throat out of an animal yet, James. But I have my butler do it.
Right.
Alan has told us that he's eaten a biscuit from Fortnum and Mason. What sort of biscuit was it, Alan, out of interest? Because, those of us who shop at Fortnum and Mason are interested.
Had a wonderful steak and pie. So this is the thing so this pops up. This is the great thing and the sad thing about Facebook is the Facebook memories that pop up. And some years ago now, I used to compete in bare knuckle fighting tournaments, and I used to train so hard that I would lose weight, and I'd have to try and put weight on coming up to a fight. So I was training super hard, losing weight, and then trying to put on weight. And this thing pops up on my timeline, and it's me complaining that I can't put on weight, and a picture of a massive pie and chips, like not a carrot in sight. And I'm thinking, I remember when I could just eat as much as I possibly could because I was struggling so much to put on weight. That's a long time ago now, though. It makes me quite sad. So yeah, I might actually just delete that so it doesn't pop up anymore.
Wow.
Yes. We haven't seen Carl for a while, have we? What's Carl up to? Dan, have you seen him?
I have. Carl is...
He's got a problem with his pastry chef, hasn't he?
Well, Carl is having the same issue that everyone in the leisure and retail industry is having, which is staffing is a bit of a nightmare at the moment. So, we send him our best, and yeah, essentially we've replaced Carl with a dog.
So who was the young lady on her knees by your chair that we saw then?
This is the one that's helping me just look after the dog today. So, yeah.
What was she doing on her knees by your chair?
Out of the view of the camera.
She wasn't, though, was she?
No, that's
She's
the
in
wrong
view of
tune.
It's not
Camera
Police
News.
Academy, okay?
There are many.
Zzz.
So, do we have a wish clip anyway? Because it's like we've got 10 minutes left.
He did a bad
No, we've got
thing.
it queued up.
He did a very bad thing, Mahoney.
We must have a wish clip.
Well, I've sent loads, but nobody's ever loaded them. So I don't. Richard, have you got any saved?
We've had far too much Star Trek to actually talk about. So
Oh, we do have one, actually.
Oh.
There's no sound.
No, there isn't on this one.
Oh, stop it, Dan, stop it. James and I will do the voices for you. So start it again. James, who do you want to be? I'll be Troy. You can be Gates.
All right then. I picked up a sex toy from the Scottish planet.
You already got 47.
This one's different. It's a candle. It's extremely arousing.
Is it ribbed?
No, I just light it, then just lie back and think of England. And then a ghost, he beep
Well,
me.
frankly, I'm envious. Oh, so do they have an online shop?
Look on goop.com for this smells like my anaphasic lover candle. It's only $500. That was a Eurotrash style performance there.
And this is Let's Talk Trek's Eurovision entry. We'll put it to some music.
Maybe we could do a quick round of How High Are You? I'll look someone up. Hang on. Richard, play the thingy. I'll look someone up.
I'll play it. I've got it on the screen.
Does everyone...
So I thought we'd do
for this week's episode of How High Are You? The person we want to know the height of is Todd Stashwick, otherwise known as Captain Liam Shaw. So, gentlemen, I invite you to write down your answers. I've got the answer here in front of me, and the viewers as well. If you want to chup in, well, put your answers in the comments. So, Todd Stashwick, Captain Liam Shaw, how high are you? Could it all be done with mirrors?
In feet and inches.
Feet and inches, yes. Obviously, we only work in Imperial, so I can see that we've got some answers coming in. Linda is saying 6 foot nothing. Gary 6'2". Richard Ginn says 5'9". Vicky says 6'1". Val Hug says 5'11". Do you boys have an answer?
Yeah.
Richard, what have you got?
Hang on.
I think he's 9 Rikers tall.
9 Rikers tall. Well, how tall is Riker? Let's work that out in inches.
Have I written that right?
5'9".
Are we talking about his height?
We are talking height, yes. Right. Okay. Dan, have you got an answer?
I'm going to say 6 foot.
You what?
6 feet.
6 feet. All right. And what have we got? So Alan Window says 6 foot, 6'1.5". Right. The actual answer is 6 feet and 2 inches. So we have a winner. That's Gary. Gary, well done. You're spot on.
That's a lot taller than I thought he was going to be.
No.
Well, there we are.
There you go. I think we need to play the outro just to fill some time.
Or we could talk about some Star Trek.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So going back to our friend earlier, who did his best favorite episode, favorite captain, and favorite show. But I can't be asked to find it. So he went I thought quite
Kirk,
eclectic.
Profiting Lace and Deep Space Nine, he said.
Yeah, Deep Space Nine was his favourite show. Deep Space Nine episode was his favourite episode, but his favourite captain was Kirk. I mean, do you guys have like a similar thing where your favourite series may not have your favourite character in? I think it's been a while since us three have done our favourite show, favourite episode, and favourite captain.
And there has been new shows out since we last did this.
And there has been new shows, so it's something possibly that we should put ourselves on the spot with and talk about now.
Okay, I'll go. I don't mind jumping on this first if you want. Favorite show is still for me going to be TNG. It's the Trek I grew up with, and that's what it is. For me, Picard would be my captain, but in very, very close second place would be Shaw. I quite like the character of Shaw. I liked the way he dealt with Picard. I like the way that that character progression from being somebody that actually hated to being actually someone that actually everyone's really sad about at the end. Yeah, really good. And favorite episode.
Close second is what you're saying.
Yeah, and favorite episode for me is still All Good Things.
Still your favorite one, All Good Things. Oh,
yeah,
that's one I gave you. Have you still got that stamp collection I gave you?
I have. All Good Things and Tapestry. They're my two favorites. So. Is
that stamp collection I gave you? Is it mounted on your wall? Is it somewhere beautiful?
It is beautifully over this way. Yes.
Oh, it's not. It's not shoved away up in a loft or out.
No.
Yeah.
No, I've got a lovely wall.
It's a wonderful stamp collection. Would you like to show our viewers the wonderful?
Unfortunately, it is attached to the wall with command tabs, so I can't take it off. If I do, I'll end up taking
the whole point of
back.
command tabs. Yes, you can.
No, I'll end up detaching a wall because command tabs are horrendous.
James, so you're let's do it. First of all, your favourite captain and why?
Favourite captain is going to be, this will surprise you, Kirk.
Okay,
he's the original. He's the best.
So, but why is he the best? Is kind of what I'm asking.
Because he's your quintessential space adventurer, and he's also really something special with the ladies.
He's a bit of a cad, bit of a bounder.
He's a bounder and a cad, but at the end of the day, he's an officer and a gentleman, and he gets the job done.
He doesn't believe in no-win
scenario.
scenario.
The prime directive is something that happens to other people.
But do you specifically mean TOS Kirk, not Abrams Kirk?
Abrams Kirk, no, forget Abrams Kirk, no, proper Kirk.
Really? Because I thought Abrams Kirk really embodied TOS Kirk very well. I thought
no, he doesn't, because Abrams Kirk is nonsense. Abrams Kirk is a cadet one day and captain of the flagship the next. That makes no sense. He
believed in no-win scenarios. He copped off with many different species of females. He was fantastic.
That's Shatner's Kirk.
Although interesting, when you look at the character of Kirk, like James describes him, with that sort of blasé attitude to stuff. It's when they've done Pike in Strange New Worlds, you can almost see how he would be like a mentor figure to Kirk because you can see traits of that in Pike.
He's like a grown-up Kirk, isn't he?
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
But he is. In Strange New Worlds, he's like a grown-up Kirk. He really is. So your favourite series then, James?
TNG. TNG is the one where it was in production while I was growing up. It was the 7 years, week in, week out. We went and explored strange new worlds, and we had lots of fun doing it. It was fantastic.
And so again, similar to Dan, then the reason being is the fact that this is something that you grew up with. You felt this was your gateway drug almost.
Well, it's the embodiment of what I think Star Trek is supposed to be.
Sorry, someone's put a really funny joke in the chat here.
The thing is, I think what Richard's trying to say, and the expression that is used is, it's my Trek. And people say that because that's the Trek they grew up watching,
I had a wonderful chat with Darren Jameson a few years ago when I was away in Reading. And we were up in a pub, and his words were, he said, DS9, he said, that's my show. And generally, that's how you feel. That's the one that you do. You feel like that belongs to me. That's the one I associate with the most. That's my go-to show. That's my show. And you do. You when you love it that much, you do feel like you've taken possession of it, don't you?
Although I do have
There's a
one.
reason that the Riker's beard sets all look like the Enterprise D.
Because we
Is
all
that-
love the.
Okay, I was going to say, is that because making a Voyager bridge be harder?
Well, the Voyager bridge is well into production, but no, the Enterprise D bridge is the one we all love.
There's more beige on it, and we love our beige.
So, Richard, how about yourself?
Hang on, favourite episode?
Oh yeah.
go
So
on.
your favorite episode, Trials and Tribulations.
It's in the middle of the golden age of Trek, and we've got Deep Space Nine overlapping with TOS. It's just brilliant.
And my favourite line in that one is when Bashir and O'Brien are in the turbo lift, and he doesn't know how to use it. He's like, "I won't tell anybody if you want." Yeah, fine. that is just pure two best mates of like, yeah, this is a secret. Goes to the
I
grave.
think that episode is the first ever episode, really, that you felt they were doing fan service. They did this one for the fans. I think that's the first. It feels like it's the first time they've actually acknowledged the fans and gone, do you know what? We're going to do this one for you.
They're going to love this. Let's do this for them.
Let's do this just for the fans. You know, I mean, there's been a couple since then where you feel like, yeah, they've done a bit, but that was the first one that they just felt they've done that one all out. They've sat down. They've probably had it ticking around there, and they thought, let's do this for the fans. They're going to love it. And it must have cost a fair bit of money, those effects, back then. They probably spent
Don't
half.
forget they had to build, substantial parts of the TOS style sets.
Yeah, it must have been a
To
massive.
sit on and walk through the corridors and all of that. And that's before you mess around with the rotoscoping.
But when I watched it for the first time, I genuinely felt like they'd actually gone out of the way to make me feel included as a fan. Like they've done this one for me. I really did. That's a fabulous episode. It's a great episode, James.
It's strange, isn't it, when you say that? There are certain episodes in each Trek which have got throwbacks to a previous show, in that sort of bringing people forward. The fact that Voyager started on DS9, you had that sort of roping it in that way. We had Q appear, we had Thomas Riker appear. We had TOS characters appear in TNG. Like you say, it's all for fans, but the Trial and Tribulations is very more.
Then you've got when it backfires, the final episode of Enterprise.
It's a love letter to TNG, but a bit harsh on the Enterprise cast that their swan song is basically taken over.
So if anyone watching knows more about this than I do, so I'm a big fan of Enterprise. I think it's a great show. I really enjoyed all the seasons of it, and I was very sad when it ended when it did. And on that note, the last episode, not that I would encourage anyone to do it, but if you look at streaming sites, the fan edit of the final episode is actually more popular than the actual final episode. It's had more downloads and shares. I do wonder when they found out they weren't having another season, because season 4 was really kind of out there in terms of story arcs, and it was going for double episodes in almost every story plot. And I wonder if the decision to bring Riker and Troy in and have it about the I forgot what was the name of it, the ship that phased in out of the rock,
The Pegasus.
Yeah, Pegasus. I wonder if that was almost a rush decision to do that. I mean, certainly all you got to see them was in the holodeck, so they didn't build any sets like Trials and Tribulations, did they? They didn't do any kind of anything like
They
that.
had a corridor, Richard.
Oh, they had a corridor, did they?
Yeah, they did walk down a corridor. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, there's a lot been said at conventions and things by people from Enterprise about what season 5 was going to be. How it was going to be sort of focused towards the Romulan War, how the NX-01 was going to have a refit. So obviously these things had to have been at least discussed, prior to winding it up.
Well, good old Doug Drexler, friend of the show, he's routinely posted pictures of the refit that we would have seen with the Enterprise with a secondary hull. And in Picard, we've now seen it in the Fleet Museum with the refit, although it's only visible in the distance, but it's there. It's been made canon.
Well, we'll never let canon get in the way of a good story, but with regard to your choices there, James, superb.
Thank you, Roger. Thank you. Tell us yours.
You're a very well. I flit around a lot. Yeah, I jump down rabbit holes, and it depends. I'm flavour of the month guy. Me, my tastes are varied and strange. So I will
just say it. Yours is Discovery. Just say the word.
So my favorite captain at present is actually Janeway. And
no love for Pike, then.
My favorite show at present is Voyager, and my favorite episode is still Lower Decks from TNG. I'm just enjoying. I'm enjoying Voyager a lot at the moment. In particular, watching it with my little girl. Genuinely, I'm watching it with a new perspective now because my little girl's getting so much from seeing Janeway in a captain's role, seeing a woman in a role, and more than that, she's loving seeing Seven primarily getting most of the story leads as well. Like the show is about her, most of the episodes and what she's doing. And I don't think when it came out, not being a woman myself, and obviously not being a father, I realised actually how important the representation genuinely really is. So watching it now with my daughter and seeing her completely engaged and empowered by it, and encouraged by it is just fantastic. I think it's great.
Yeah. Can't really say much to that. He's a great example, It's nice to hear that.
Her getting lost isn't good, but, apart from that, yeah.
Well, it's nice to hear that, the little one's getting into Star Trek.
Yeah, both of them, so they're 11 and 12, my kids. Definitely for Charlie, Prodigy was his gateway drug. And he's 12 now, so he's very interested in Voyager and 7 and 9. That's why they did it. But no,
a little something for the dads, as they used to say. Yeah,
but genuinely, my little girl's really, really engaged. I mean, she's really engaged with it. Going a little bit off topic now. My little girl was absolutely delighted when they cast a female Doctor Who, and again, I was kind of I didn't realise how important it was to saw how important it was to my little girl. She has subsequently been so disappointed by it. But initially the excitement was quite
graceful era, yes.
But initially the excitement was very genuine and was there, and it was important to her, and it makes me realise how important representation is when it comes from somewhere you can't appreciate yourself. You can't. I'm not a girl, so I don't know. It's the same as when you have black people cast in roles and it's done just for representation purposes. How am I supposed to judge that? I'm not black. So it's you have to keep a perspective, and I think that's really taught me at watching my little girl enjoying these female characters in a strong role.
I mean, it's interesting that, and this is a topic for another show because we're at our hour, but how Trek throughout its history has been very good at sort of, being
representation. Yeah.
Well, the pioneer of this, like for instance, Cisco, was a single father black character.
Yeah.
In a time when that really wasn't a thing too much on TV. And we've talked about it before on the show. Some of the big topics that have been discussed. Freedom of choice. Adoption, these are all the big ones that are just dealt with through Trek.
It's what it's always done effortlessly well until Discovery. But put that to one side, it generally has done it effortlessly well. It's one of the things that makes me very proud, rather than a little bit embarrassed to say I'm into Star Trek. I'm proud to say I'm into Star Trek because of those things.
I mean, like Star Trek 5 taught us one thing, which was, you can choose your friends, but not your family. Yeah.
I saw a post. Apparently, Sean Connery was supposed to play Cyborg.
Yes.
Yeah, right. How would they afford it in?
Also, how would they explain his accent?
Maybe you put a Russian accent on.
Gentlemen, we sail into history.
Oh, I had that on in work the other day.
Do your Egyptian accent, Sean. I'll go and get your pharaoh.
Well, right, that is our hour. We will be discussing more actual Trek stuff next week.
Apologies. We kind of went off on one talking about Star Trek for almost about 10 minutes there. So.
More John Barrowman next week.
That's
did you just knock that up, did you, James? Just quickly put a sticker on Barrowman and go, there you go.
This is the special Riker's Beard John Barrowman album.
James, I have an idea.
Yes.
Next convention, not the one next, not the one next weekend. The next convention that you have to hire a van for.
Yeah.
Get that CD, put a tiny touch of super glue just near the inner ring, and push it into the CD player, and then the rental company can have John Barrowman stuck in the CD player forever.
Next week.
The Steve Gutenberg update.
Oh, bless.
I've just noticed I had this Easter egg lying around, and it turns out, look, it's a changeling one.
I'm sure I've shouted at a girl before. Right, on that note.
Yeah, just very quickly, though. A little bit sad, not done a show since, so I'd like to say it. I always end the show by saying, look after yourselves and each other. Very sorry to hear about the passing of Jerry Springer the other week. So I'll say, look after yourself, mate. Good night.